Cody, that MLM guy, here with your daily tip. Today's tip is all about motivation. Did you know that there are two different kinds of motivation? There's extrinsic motivation and there's intrinsic motivation. Now, extrinsic motivation comes externally from outside of your own self. The most basic example of extrinsic motivation would be somebody putting a gun to your head. Okay, when that person puts a gun to your head, they extrinsically motivate you to do whatever it is that they want you to do. Okay, that's an example, an extreme example of extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It comes from within yourself, inside. And so an example of intrinsic motivation might be you want to make more money, so you start a business. Or maybe you want to look better in a bathing suit, so you lose some weight, you start working out. Anything that comes from within, that it's a desire that you have that motivates you to action, is an intrinsic motivation. And anything external or outside is extrinsic motivation. So today's tip is about harnessing the power of extrinsic motivation. Okay, that's motivation that comes from outside of your own self. Now, obviously, you need to be working to keep yourself motivated and motivated from within and working from within. But it's helpful to have a push from outside. And that's what extrinsic motivation offers. And I'm not talking about somebody putting a gun to your head. That's ridiculous. But that is a good example of extrinsic motivation. But a healthy kind of extrinsic motivation that you can develop is some sort of either customer base or some sort of following online. When you develop a following online and people are regularly checking out your website or visiting your blog or listening to your podcast or they're going onto your YouTube channel, when you create those sort of followings, it also creates extrinsic motivation because you want to continue to interact with your customer base or with this following that you have attained. And so today's tip is all about finding ways to cultivate extrinsic motivation. Sometimes you're going to have down days. You're not going to have intrinsic motivation. You're going to be tired. And you'll need that outside push of a following, a group of people who are pushing you and motivating you to continue on in your business and to stay involved. So, you can start with podcasting or blogging, doing video casting like I do, creating a YouTube channel, creating your own website. Those are all ideas of ways that you can develop a following. Twitter is another wonderful way to develop a following. Facebook is a good way to develop a following. But find a way to develop some sort of following with a community that you can interact with people. And that community will extrinsically motivate you to keep on keeping on when you're tired and when you lack intrinsic motivation. So again, today's tip is all about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation and trying to get some extrinsic motivation behind what you're doing by developing a following in some way. This is what's fun about being in business. You can develop an extrinsic following or a following that will produce extrinsic motivation in a number of different ways. So the sky's the limit. Today, think of a way that you can develop some sort of following or some sort of extrinsic motivation.